Mantra, there is nothing higher. A 1982 interview with George Harrison. If you open up your heart, you will know what I mean. We've been polluted so long, but here's a way for you to get clean.
Interview with George Harrison.
By chanting the names of the Lord, and you'll be free. The Lord is awaiting on you all to awaken and see. Awaiting on you all, from the album All Things Must Pass. In the summer of 1969, before the dissolution of the most popular music group of all time, George Harrison produced a hit single, Hare Krishna Mantra, performed by George and the members of the London Radha Krishna Temple. Soon after rising to the top 10 or top 20 best selling record charts throughout England, Europe, and parts of Asia, the Hare Krishna chant became a household word, especially in England, where the BBC had featured the Hare Krishna chanters, as they were then called, 4 times on the country's most popular television program, Top of the Pops. At about the same time, 5,000 miles away, several shaven headed, saffron robed men and sari clad women sang along with George Lennon and Yoko Ono as they recorded the hit song Give Peace a Chance in their room at Montreal's Queen Elizabeth Hotel. John and Yoko, Timmy Leary, Rosemary, Tommy Smoothers, Bobby Dylan, Tommy Cooper, Derek Taylor, Norman Mailer, Allen Ginsberg, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna. All we are saying is give peace a chance. The Hare Krishna devotees had been visiting with the Lennons for several days, discussing world peace and self realization. Because of this and other widespread exposure, people all over the world soon began to identify the chanting Hare Krishna devotees as harbingers of a more simple, joyful, peaceful way of life. George Harrison was the impetus for the Beatles' spiritual quest of the 60s and up until his death in 2001. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, continued to play a key role in his life. In this conversation with his longtime personal friend, contemporary Vedic Library series editor Mukunda Goswami, taped at George's home in England on September 4, 1982, George reveals some of the memorable experiences he had chanting Hare Krishna and describes in detail his deep personal realizations about the chanting. He explains what factors led him to produce the Hare Krishna mantra record, My Sweet Lord, and the LPs All Things Must Pass and Living in the Material World, all of which were influenced to a great extent by the Hare Krishna chanting and philosophy. He speaks lovingly and openly of his association with His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement. George also speaks frankly about his personal philosophy regarding the Hare Krishna movement, music, yoga, reincarnation, karma, and soul, God, and Christianity. The conversation concludes with his fond remembrances of a visit to the birthplace of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, India, home of the Hare Krishna mantra, and with George discussing some of his celebrity friends' involvement with the mantra now heard and chanted around the world.
Thank you so much, Radha Premprada Mataji, for reading. Mother Jayasri, would you like to throw some light or share some of the experiences of other disciples as some of these pastimes were happening in England?
I just know I've been listening to the book of Mukunda Maharaj, Miracle on 26 Second Avenue, and he goes into it's an audiobook that I listen to in my car.
Okay.
And he talks about this particular time and how the London Temple came about and how George got involved and living at Yoko and John Lennon's place. So if you want to know more about that history, that's a good source. I mean, Malati talks about it sometimes, she's not one to just sit down and talk about any particular time and place she was with Srila Prabhupada, but it comes out sometimes. Like we went on the bus tour. We were at the New York Rath Yatra, and they had a bus tour that went on to all the places Prabhupada had either lived or walked and things like that. So we came to one place, I can't remember the name of the building, the Dakota Building. And it's where John Lennon lived at the time and where he was killed, actually. He had come down, they lived right next to Central Park. He and Yoko had come down, and some crazy guy from Hawaii actually came and shot him and killed him. But he added the fellow that was doing Ram Roy, I can't remember how to say it, which one it is. But he's the one who leads the devotees, the Sankirtan group in New York. He gave all the explanation while we toured around the city. But he said it just so happened that there was a family that lived nearby and just happened to see what happened. Devotee family, Sarotama and his wife, and that they were there when John Lennon was leaving his body. I thought that was totally Krishna's arrangement. Anyway, it's amazing that Prabhupada, if you lived in those days and saw the Beatles were like no other group that there's ever been. They were just crazy popular, just crazy popular. To think that the simple, poor Hare Krishna people would meet them and make a record album that made them go on the top of the pops and tour around. It was impossible. Nobody would believe that could happen. But it did. Krishna made that arrangement. And if you listen to Mukunda Maharaj's or read his book, you'll see a little more detail of how it happened. It's quite amazing.
Amazing. I also wanted to add a little bit. In Montreal last year, we had the conference, the leaders' conference there, and we were given this picture of the last meeting of Srila Prabhupada with the disciples that were leaving for England to start the Krishna consciousness there. That picture is, oh my God, it's so touching. And to be there in the Montreal temple and feel that Prabhupada was there instructing these disciples to, embark this difficult journey, but they faced so many challenges and still they were able to establish this whole movement with the help of the Beatles. That was amazing.
I mean, they really had no money when they went there.
Yeah.
They borrowed money from Srila Prabhupada. They showed it to get into the country, sent it back to the next group of the couple, and then they got in. But Mukunda talks about how they lived there. That was something I was just going to say based on what you had just said. Oh, I know. They asked Srila Prabhupada in Montreal in that meeting, what do we do? And he told them a story. And it's a Charlie Chaplin movie. There was a man, he had his tuxedo, and he was at a dance with his wife, and somehow or other his coattail. In the old days, they had these coattail coats, and one of them got caught and it ripped off. And he just thought, well, that's okay. He wasn't worried about it. So he started to dance really a lot. And then all the people that saw him thought, wow, he's so cool. Let me do the same thing. And then they ripped off their coattail and they started dancing. And they couldn't figure out why Prabhupada was telling him that story. And Mukunda Maharaj says later, when they got there, why? We asked him for help, and he told us this odd story. And one of the devotees, I think it was Mukunda Maharaj, that said, no, I got it. We're the odd people. Who's going to listen to us? But if we're enthusiastic and if we work with conviction, people will follow us. And that's what they did. Back in those days, there was no Hare Krishna. There was no bald-headed people with saffron clothes on. It was a great oddity.
Awesome, awesome. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. So we have a conversation here, Mukunda Goswami and George Harrison. Shamakaruna Mataji and Adi Gaurangi Mataji, if you would like to take turns and read, please.
Okay, Mataji.
Adi Gaurangi Mataji, are you able to read?
Yes, yes. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
I can be George Harrison then, or is there a preference? Okay. I can read Mukunda Goswami. Can I start? Yes,
Can
please. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada. Dandavat Mataji for you. Mukunda Goswami. Oftentimes you speak of yourself as a plain clothes devotee, a closet yogi or closet Krishna, and millions of people all over the world have been introduced to the chanting by your songs. But what about you? How did you first come in contact with Krishna? Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. George Harrison. Through my visits to India. So by the time the Hare Krishna movement first came to England in 1969, John and I had already gotten a hold of Prabhupada's first album, Krishna Consciousness. We had played it a lot and liked it. That was the first time I'd ever heard the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Mukunda, even though you and John Lennon played Srila Prabhupada's record a lot and had chanted quite a bit on your own, you would never really met any of the devotees. Yet, when Guru Dasa, Shamasundara, and I, the three of the six devotees sent from America to open the first Hare Krishna temple in London, first came to England, you co-signed the lease on our first temple in central London, bought Bhaktivedanta Manor for us, which has provided a place for literally hundreds of thousands of people to learn about Krishna consciousness, and financed the first printing of the book Krishna. You hadn't really known us for a very long time at all. Wasn't this a kind of sudden change for you? Not really, for I always felt at home with Krishna. You see, it was already a part of me. I think it's something that's been with me from my previous birth. Your coming to England and all that was just like another piece of a jigsaw puzzle that was coming together to make a complete picture. It had been slowly fitting together. That's why I responded to you all the way I did when you first came to London. Let's face it, if you're going to have to stand up and be counted, I figured I would rather be with these guys than with those other guys over there. It's like that. I mean, I'd rather be one of the devotees of God than one of the straight, so called sane or normal people who just don't understand that a man is a spiritual being and that he has a soul. And I felt comfortable with you all too, kind of like we'd known each other before. It was a pretty natural thing, really. Mukunda, you were a member of the Beatles, undoubtedly the greatest single pop group in music history, one that influenced not only music but whole generations of young people. After the dissolution of the group, you went on to emerge as a soul superstar with albums like All Things Must Pass, the country's top selling album for 7 weeks in a row, and its hit single, My Sweet Lord, which was number one in America for 2 months. That was followed by Living in the Material World, number one on Billboard for 5 weeks, and a million selling LP. One song on that album, Give Me Love, was a smash hit for 6 straight weeks. The concert for Bangladesh with the Ringo Starr, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Leon Russell, and Billy Preston was a phenomenal success. And once the LP and concert film were released, would become the single most successful rock benefit project ever. So you had material success. You had been everywhere, done everything, yet at the same time, you were on spiritual quest. What was it that really got you started on your spiritual journey? It wasn't until the experience of the 60s really hit.
You know, having been successful in meeting everybody we thought worth meeting and finding out they weren't worth meeting, and having had more hit records than everybody else and having done it bigger than everybody else, it was like reaching the top of a wall and then looking over and seeing that there's so much more on the other side. So I felt it was part of my duty to say, oh, okay, maybe you are thinking this is all you need to be rich and famous, but actually it isn't.
Mukunda, in your recently published autobiography, I, Me, Mine, you said your song, Awaiting on You All, is about japa yoga or chanting mantras on beads. You explained that a mantra is mystical energy encased in a sound structure, and that each mantra contains within its vibrations a certain power. But all of the mantras you stated that the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, has been prescribed as the easiest and surest way for attaining God realization in the present age. As a practitioner of Japa Yoga, what realizations have you experienced from chanting?
Prabhupada told me once that we should just keep chanting all the time, or as much as possible. Once you do that, you realize the benefit. The response that comes from chanting is in the form of bliss or spiritual happiness, which is a much higher taste than any happiness found here in the material world. That's why I say that the more you do it, the more you don't want to stop, because it feels so nice and peaceful.
Mukunda, what is it about the mantra that brings about the feeling of peace and happiness?
The word Hare is the word that calls upon the energy that's around the Lord. If you say the mantra enough, you build up an identification with God. God's all happiness, all bliss, and by chanting his names, we connect with him. So it's really a process of actually having a realization of God, which all becomes clear with the expanded state of consciousness that develops when you chant. Like I said in the introduction I wrote for Prabhupada's Krishna book some years ago, if there's a God, I want to see him. It's pointless to believe in something without proof, and Krishna consciousness and meditation are methods where you can actually obtain God perception.
Thank you, Mataji. So you can hold on for a few minutes if
Thank you.
Mataji has any comments. And after that, if any of you want to share your realizations as we're reading, please feel free to raise your hands.
There was another song that George wrote. It's called Something.
Okay.
Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. And
Yeah.
it sounds like it's about a girl, but it's actually about Krishna.
Oh,
I never knew that.
He wrote it to glorify Krishna, but he didn't want to say because this was a commercial album, right, for the public. He didn't want to say something in the way he moves
oh, okay.
because he didn't want people to think he was a fluff, a gay person.
Sure, sure.
So he said something in the way she moves.
Mhm.
And one of the other great all-time recording stars, Frank Sinatra, from my father's generation, said that it is the best love song ever written. That's from Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra was the top of in my father's generation. He said that song something was the most beautiful love song ever written, but he was just singing about Krishna.
Very well. Beautiful.
Interesting.
I want to hear that once we're done with the call.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I never
It's
heard
just
of
a
that
beautiful,
one.
I love the song. I actually had, when I had a CD recorder in my car, I had a CD of those songs. That when I'm driving a long distance and I want something to keep me going, sometimes I listen to that. I mean, I don't have it anymore, but it's because I know what he's singing about. It's spiritual to me.
Sure, sure. My dad used to play that in India in the 80s and 90s, and I only remember All Things Must Pass and My Sweet Lord. I don't remember the other songs.
Yeah, sometimes you hear when you go into like dollar stores and stuff, you'll hear George singing My Sweet Lord, or
Yes, yes,
it's funny.
yes. Any other Matajis, any realizations, any thoughts?
I just want to say thank you for sharing about the song Something, because I didn't ever, I really like that song too, but never knew it was about Krishna. So next time
Yeah.
I listen to it, I'll have so much more appreciation and it'll be such a different meaning. So thank you.
Exactly.
Hare
So,
Krishna, Mataji.
yes.
Hare Krishna, Mother Jayasri. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare
Um,
Krishna.
the book you're talking about, is there a way to get the audio version of that? Because, now when reading this conversation between Mukunda Goswami and George, and how George is sharing his realization about his experience of chanting the mantra, it like kind of reinforces that faith, and also brings that energy that he's depicting here when he says that talks about his realization, like when he says you just connect with Krishna. It when you chant, it has so much of power. So, like, reading that again and again, it brings to us, refreshes and reinforces it again, that energy. So I was just thinking if there's a way to get the audio version of that. Is there any PDF or link somewhere?
No, it's on Audible. You can get it in audiobook. That's what I listen to in my car. I just plug my phone in and push the Audible, and I've got that book. I've got Dina Tarani's book about Jamuna. I've got Radha Swami's Journey Home. There's a number of books on Audible that you can just listen to, and it's the author reading the book.
I see. You said audio.
Audible is an app,
I see. Okay.
and you just look for Mukunda Maharaj, or what Miracle on 26th Avenue, and you can buy it.
I see. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Adi Gaurangi Mataji and Shamkaranam, Mataji, there's only few, the little bit of conversation left. You can please finish it.
Okay, Mataji. Should I start, Mataji?
Yes, please.
I was reading Mukunda. Mataji, want to read
Yeah.
George?
Yeah, you can continue the same. It is an instantaneous process. You can read from there.
Okay. It is an instantaneous process or gradual.
You don't get it in 5 minutes. It's something that takes time, but it works because it's a direct process of attaining God and will help us to have pure consciousness and good perception that is above the normal, everyday state of consciousness.
Mukunda, how do you feel after chanting for a long time?
In the life I lead, I find that sometimes I have opportunities when I can really get going at it. And the more I do it, I find it the harder it is to stop. And I don't want to lose the feeling it gives me. For example, once I chanted the Hare Krishna mantra nonstop all the way from France to Portugal. I drove for about 23 hours and chanted all the way. It gets you feeling a bit invincible. The funny thing was that I didn't even know where I was going. I mean, I had bought a map and I knew basically which way I was aiming, but I couldn't speak French, Spanish, or Portuguese. But none of that seemed to matter. Once you get chanting, then things start to happen transcendentally.
The Vedas inform us that because God is absolute, there is no difference between God, the person, and his holy name. The name is God. When you first started chanting, could you perceive that?
It takes a certain amount of time and faith to accept or realize that there's no difference between him and his name. To get to the point where you're no longer mystified by where he is. Like, is he around here? You realize after some time, here he is, right here. It's a matter of practice. So when I say that I see God, I don't necessarily mean to say that when I chant, I'm seeing Krishna in his original form when he came 5,000 years ago, dancing across the water, playing his flute. Of course, that would also be nice, and it's quite possible too. When you become real pure by chanting, you can actually see God like that. I mean, personally. But no doubt you can feel his presence and know that he's there when you're chanting.
Can you think of any incident where you felt God's presence very strongly through chanting?
Once I was on an airplane that was in an electric storm. It was hit by lightning 3 times, and a Boeing 707 went over the top of us, missing us by inches. I thought the back end of the plane had blown off. I was on my way from Los Angeles to New York to organize the Bangladesh concert. As soon as the plane began bouncing around, I started chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The whole thing went on for about an hour and a half or 2 hours. The plane dropping hundreds of feet and bouncing all over in the storm, all the lights out and all these explosions, and everybody terrified. I ended up with my feet pressed against the seat in front, my seatbelt as tight as it could be, gripping on the thing and yelling, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, at the top of my voice. I know for me, the difference between making it and not making it was actually chanting the mantra. Peter Sellers also swore that chanting Hare Krishna saved him from a plane crash once.
Cool. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading. I believe we can start the next section tomorrow, but if anyone would like to share your realizations, if not, Mother Jayasri can inspire us some more with her
I really,
experience and
sorry.
expression.
I really like what I read from George Harrison's perspective about how he feels when chanting the mantra. I can feel like so excited to want to chant just by hearing from him and his realizations before we took the previous break, what he had said earlier about the meaning of the mantra as well, how he understands the mantra and how powerful it is. It's just very nice to hear him explain it the way he did.
Yeah, we were also talking about how this is all science and how Prabhupada just does not say do this, but Prabhupada is giving the background because when, for example, we've gone to college, we've learned so much, our children are going to school, but if it's just, the basic knowledge, like the base knowledge, what's the point? One has to dig deeper. And Prabhupada has done so much work for us, like with all these books. Prabhupada has given us why of everything. Like, it's just, oh, chant Hare Krishna, it's good for you. No. But Prabhupada has given us the meaning behind it, where exactly this is there in the Puranas. And again, now we have seen all these Prabhupada's disciples, and here we are seeing George Harrison sharing his own examples, his own experience about the importance and how much effective this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is. It's amazing.
He showed that it was authoritative, which makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. True. Would you like to share anything else, Mother Jayasri?
No.
Very good. It's 9:30, and if anyone has any last comments, last thoughts.
Oh, it's over already?
Yeah, we're able to go a few more minutes if.
Oh, no, that's
It
fine.
is.
I just didn't realize that it was over. It's such an interesting conversation because you're talking about someone that was just so widely known. And it's funny how his life, I mean, he was so famous and then he was able just to go, he didn't really care for the public opinion once he got involved in Krishna's consciousness. Because I can't think of any other celebrity of that caliber that all of a sudden started making spiritual music. He was famous for his drugs, sex, and rock and roll kind of music. Now all of a sudden he's only singing about God and peace and love, but he was bold enough to do it, not to, oh, am I going to get more money if I do something else? He'd seen it all and he just wanted to serve. Prabhupada gave him that devotional seed. And obviously he was looking for it in the first place. And I would assume that John Lennon was also looking for it. But he didn't grab onto it like George did. when we were at the manor in the fall, we went into they have a big garden with a beautiful pond with, I believe it's Parthasarthi in the middle. Big fountain thing. And the garden is George Harrison's garden because he bought the place. He was known for his love of gardening and trees and plants and stuff. So they made a special memorial garden for him. Very rare.
Yes, I've been there. I was there 4 years ago, I believe. It's the most amazing place. It was on my bucket list, and it was a very short visit. We had a long layover, but I want to go there again and really sit there and feel that because it's definitely a special place. And after reading Srila Prabhupada Leela and now chant Hare Krishna and be happy, I think there's even more connection. So another trip should be.
They have a nice guest house.
Yeah.
Right outside the compound, that's where we stayed. It was excellent.
Mm-hmm. The Goshala is also beautiful, like
yes.
very huge. There's a lot of cows there.
The man that runs it was just here like 2 weeks ago.
Yes. He
That's
was
very
here as
nice.
well in Vancouver. Probably it's a different person. I don't remember the name though.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, his daughter goes to school here, looks like. Okay, thank you so much for this nectar.
Okay.
This is very,
Oh,
very
I'm glad I
interesting.
could participate.
We're really fortunate to have you here.
We are fortunate to have this whole situation that Prabhupada's created. Very fortunate.
Yes, very bold, Jayasri. We'll end the call here and we'll meet again tomorrow and continue with the same chapter. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo